My name's Cordine Lewis Allen. The news articles say that this is a terrible place to raise children, right? The news articles say um, that we're the poorest neighborhood, um, the neighborhood in Brooklyn with the highest crime. Um, I don't think they see the valuable things that come out of Brownsville. I think the city sees us as a blight on its record, right? And that's why they're kind of throwing resources at us now, which are really pennies in comparison to the years, the decades of disinvestment. But I am a urbanist and a nonprofit administrator, I suppose. I also teach architecture at City College. So after doing 4 years of architecture school at SUNY Buffalo, I came back to Brooklyn looking for internships, and I was looking intentionally for black architecture firms, which is kind of hard when less than 2% of licensed architects are black. So, but I found one, and he was in Bed-Stuy, and I went for an interview, and I chatted with him, and he went to Pratt, and he was, he seemed willing to have me on and mentor me, but he did mention one thing. He said you should apply to a school with a bigger name, and I was kind of broadsided by that. I was like, well, I went to school for these 4 years. I put in all this investment, but I realized when I got back to school and I was looking at the prospects for schools that I was thinking about, I wasn't really reaching. I was kind of going for the safe schools that I thought I could get into. And so I just took his advice, and as opposed to applying for safe schools, I just applied for the top schools for architecture, for grad schools for architecture. I ended up applying to Columbia and Pratt, UPenn, Georgia Tech, and Harvard. And I got into all of them except for Columbia, which was a surprise to me. So Made in Brownsville came about from two imperatives. One was, in my 7.5 years of architecture education, as well as like in practice in corporate architecture, I was always like one of two black guys. And so there was a lack of diversity and inclusion and lack of pathways for people of color to get into the design as well as technology fields. So that was a push. And the other, after I came back and I worked for a local nonprofit organization, did some community visioning, and realized that what the community was really asking for are opportunities for youth employment. And I saw, the connection between, we have 1 in 4 young people between the age of 16 and 24 that aren't in school and aren't working in Brownsville. I saw my background as a way to connect the disconnection from design and technology workforce to young people here and figure out a pathway for them to enter those professions. So what Made in Brownsville does is provides a space to cultivate their talent in the design and technology fields, but also to connect them to tangible apprenticeships that make them more eligible for the creative economy marketplace for jobs. So we set out to build out a space for young people. It's a 2,500 square foot space that we have here. It's a co-working and fabrication lab, and what that does is allow for creatives and entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, to come mentor and collaborate with our young people to build their relevant work experience and hopefully get them into the STEAM professions. The kids that we've engaged so far with Made in Brownsville, they're brilliant. They each have a genius that just needs cultivating, and also there's a large need for career exploration or career orientation, because you'll ask a lot of them what they want to be when they grow up, and they'll say either an entertainer or a basketball player, because that's where they think the money is. And then I show them, the Indeed pages for the job descriptions for, industrial designers or, web developers, and they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know you could make six figures doing that kind of thing." So it's a we're kind of like a buffer between what they think is possible for themselves in their lives and what we know their genius can unlock for them.